Hello, are we live? um, if you can hear me, please leave a comment and let me know where you are commenting from. It's exciting to be here with you all. This it's actually evening over here in Nigeria, so I don't know where you are listening from. But I'll be glad to see lots of comments if you can hear me so that I will know that I'm not speaking to myself. Okay, awesome, Raj. Welcome. Okay, so we'll be getting started with the workshop very soon, and hopefully more people will join us in the live session. So let me share my screen while we wait for the commencement of the session. So please let me know if you can see my screen. Can you see my screen? Kindly leave a comment to let me know if you can see my screen so that I'll be sure that I'm not presenting to myself. Okay, awesome, awesome. So I'm glad to hear that you all can see the screen. So I'll be moving ahead to present the workshop, and I hope that you all find it helpful and valuable. So as you are all aware, today's workshop is about sharing with you how a SaaS startup, okay, how they leverage zero volume keywords to acquire 1,300 signups, actually more than that, in 6 months. So I'll be sharing my screen with you, the presentation, and if you have any question by the end of the session, I will be willing and happy to respond to all of them. So, with that said, I think we can get started right away. So, as once again, I want to welcome everyone to this workshop on organized by your Content Mart about how a SaaS startup acquired over 1,300 signups in 6 months by targeting zero volume keywords. So, like as usual, the first thing that comes to mind is who is this and why should I spend the next 60 minutes or so with you? So, I am Abdugeni Shehu. I'm the founder and lead content strategist at Your Content Mart. And Your Content Mart is basically an agency, a content marketing agency that helps B2B SaaS startups to acquire user signups and grow MRR using ROI-driven content marketing. And I've been featured on websites like Moz, Smart Insights, CoSchedule, and G2. And over the last few years, I've also added to the SEO and content marketing industry with my case studies and in-depth research and analysis about SEO and content marketing for SaaS companies. So today, as I mentioned earlier, the focus of the workshop is on how a SaaS startup acquired thousands of signups using zero volume keywords. So, but before we get into the nitty gritty of what I have to share with you, so like the first thing that comes to mind is what exactly are zero volume keywords? So you might be wondering, what are zero volume keywords? So zero volume keywords are typically keywords that SEO tools show the not enough data response. So when you input keywords, zero volume keywords into an SEO tool, so the response you get is not enough data. So what that means is that the SEO tools don't have enough data about that keyword. So that's the first thing. Now, the second thing you need to know that about zero volume keywords is that the search volume of zero volume keywords are usually less than 100. So that means for most marketers, they believe that only a few people are searching for these type of keywords every month. So, but as I will show you in the course of this workshop, we eventually see that the fact that a keyword shows zero volume doesn't really mean that that is actually the case. So I will share some examples as we move forward in this session. So another thing I would like to discuss is, like, as I've said, zero volume keywords, a lot of companies neglect them. They tend to ignore them. They tend not to include them in their SEO strategy. So you typically see examples whereby companies will neglect a keyword because it has zero search volume. So because they believe that if an SEO tool indicate that a keyword has zero search volume, it doesn't make any sense to go after them. So, like, what is the reasoning behind this? So, the reasoning for most SaaS brands is that they see SEO as a traffic acquisition channel and not a customer acquisition channel. Okay, so a lot of SaaS brands that are investing in SEO, they are doing it for the sake of traffic alone. So they want to get more people to visit their website. They want to attract more website visitors. So, and that is typically the SEO play. So, I'll still share more details later on, but like that's the typical SEO play of most SaaS brands. So they see SEO as a means to acquire traffic and nothing more. So they don't think that SEO can help them to acquire customers directly. So for most SaaS brands, the way they acquire customers using SEO is usually indirectly and not directly. I will buttress more on that shortly. So, but for most SaaS brands, why they don't target zero volume keywords is that since they want to acquire more organic traffic visitors, so it kind of doesn't make enough sense for them to now go after keywords that don't have volume, or keywords that have a low search volume. Okay, so and that brings me to another point here, which is the typical SEO strategy for most SaaS brands. So as you could see here, for most SaaS brands, so the typical SEO strategy for a lot of them is just like these three steps. Okay, so the first step is they target high volume top of the funnel keywords to attract tons of website visitors. So let's say, for instance, you run an SEO software. So you want to compete against the likes of Ahrefs, SEMrush, Moz, and so on. So like the typical SEO strategy would be to go after keywords like what is SEO, SEO best practices, what is link building best practices, what is keyword research, and on and on. So because they believe that these keywords, they bring high volume. So because they have high volume, then it makes a lot of sense for them to target them. So, and that also like that brings us to the next step in this typical SEO strategy, which is the focus is that when they get tons of website visitors from these keywords, then they try to nurture these visitors. They want them to download a gated content upgrade. So let's say, for instance, you are searching Google for what is SEO. So at the end of the article, you will be asked to download let's say an ebook or a white paper or a checklist about SEO guide, or let's say the beginner's guide to SEO or something like that. So like the goal in this case is that when you target high volume top of the funnel keywords, you attract tons of website visitors. And when you do that, after that, the next step is to get readers to download your gated content. So the final step will now be that you nurture these MQS, marketing qualified leads. So like anyone that download a gated content is like a marketing qualified lead, is like a lead. Then they nurture them using series of emails to convert them into sales qualified leads. So this is the typical SEO strategy for most SaaS brands. So, and what happens in the long run? And this eventually what happens. So as you can see from the slide, so this is what usually happens. You see that a keyword that has, let's say, 50,000 organic traffic visitors, a page that has 50,000 organic traffic visitors. Now, if you check what is the number of leads that they generate from this page, it's almost like it's scanty. You will be lucky to see about 500 leads from a keyword that from a page that brings about 50,000 organic traffic visitors. Okay, so and if you now check what about the sales, you will now see the sales is even almost non-existent. Okay, so let's say from that 50,000 leads, you might be lucky to get about 10 sales or even less than that. So this is the typical SEO strategy for most SaaS startups. So, and you agree with me that this doesn't really work. This doesn't really work. So because getting organic traffic visitors on your website is a means to an end and not the end in itself. So the end goal of investing in SEO and content marketing as a SaaS startup is to grow your MRR, is to acquire user signups, is to ensure that your investment actually impacts your bottom line revenue. So if you are not getting any of these, it means that your strategy is absolutely not working. So, and that is the problem that exists with these high volume top of the funnel keywords. In most cases, these keywords are usually for people seeking for information. The example I cited previously, someone searching for what is SEO. Someone searching for what is SEO isn't necessarily looking for an SEO software. Okay, so this is one thing that you need to know. So if someone isn't looking for an SEO software and you ask them to sign up for a gated content, let's say an ebook, and they did, does that really mean that they will convert to a user sign up in the long run? The answer is no. So, and that brings me to the next point about why does it really make sense? Okay, why does it really make sense for you to target zero volume keywords as a SaaS startup? So I'm going to show you. I'm going to list some reasons, and I'm going to share some examples with you. So the first thing here, you as you can see on the screen, is that the most important reason why it makes sense is that, like, this is a fact from Google. So Google confirms that 15% of searches on the search engine are brand new. So what this means is that users are looking for new information every single day. So people are on Google searching for new things, searching for searching for pain points that they didn't have previously and they are just having right now. They are searching for new information They want to educate themselves. They want to find the solutions to their problem. So this research or these statistics by Google further shows that if you are not leveraging zero search volume in your SEO strategy, you are leaving money on the table. So what that means is that 15% of searches that are brand new, you won't be able to capture them. Okay, so that's the first reason. The second reason why it makes sense to invest in zero volume keywords as a SaaS startup is that with zero volume keywords, you can rank on Google's first page faster. Like at our agency, we have examples of clients that we've helped to rank on the first page of Google within days, within weeks, and within months. And in few months, they're already getting results from that investment in SEO. I will show you some examples shortly. So, but like this is literally it. So, like the example I gave above, previously rather, let's say for instance that your startup is an email marketing software. Okay, so and you want to rank for a top of the funnel keyword like what is email marketing. So the fact is that before you could rank for that keyword, it could literally take you months and years. So because there are a lot of websites that are already ranking for that keyword, like MailChimp, like Wikipedia, Neil Patel, um, Get Response, and a lot of them like that. So these are websites that already have domain authority. So, and if you're a SaaS startup, to attract them, it will take a lot of time. So, and if you leverage zero volume keywords, you could rank on the first page fast. So that's another reason why it makes sense to leverage zero volume keywords as a SaaS startup. So another reason why this makes a lot of sense is that with zero volume keywords, you are literally taking a bet into the future. Okay, so and the reason why this is so is simple. The fact that a keyword has zero search volume today does not mean that it will have zero search volume forever. Okay, so as the industry you are in, as it matures, as the niche grows, as more people are searching for that keyword, like the search volume will continue to increase. So if you invest in that keyword right now, there are chances that by when the search volume become more competitive, you literally be there on the first page of Google and might even own the entire SERPs in your niche. Okay, so this example, this screenshot here is an example for conversational marketing. So conversational marketing is a keyword that was popularized by Drift. So Drift, about 5 years ago or so, when they launched, they coined this term conversational marketing. So, and I believe when the term conversational marketing was coined by Drift, no one was literally searching for it. So, but as you can see now, the search volume is around 3,800 global search volume according to Ahrefs. So this is a very good example that shows you that when you invest in zero volume keywords, you are taking a bet into the future. Another important reason why zero volume keywords is worth going after is that SEO tools are not perfect. You can see the screenshots from Abirema here. So, and it further reinforces the fact that if an SEO tool indicates that a keyword has zero search volume, it doesn't necessarily mean that no one is searching for that keyword on Google. So it is just that the SEO tool might not have enough information to show you the search volume of that keyword. So, and this example by Abirema like reinforces this fact. So you can see, according to her, so a keyword that according to the SEO tools, the estimated traffic is 0, and within 6 months, she got about 12,000 organic traffic visitors from that keyword alone. So like you can see the graph, you can see how the organic traffic visitors, how they've been trending over time. So like what this shows you is that SEO tools are not perfect. So if SEO tools are not perfect, that means if an SEO tool shows you that a keyword has zero search volume, it still makes more sense to go after them depending on what your business is. We'll discuss more about that later. So one final point why it makes sense to go after these zero volume keywords is that they typically have a high buying intent. So a lot of people searching for these zero search volume keywords, they are in the mood to buy, okay, or they are actively looking for a solution to their problem. So you can see this screenshot is an example from an alternative keywords so that we help our clients, which generated about 27 user signups last month. So like literally when we checked this keyword on an SEO tool, it shows zero search volume. But last month, this keyword attracted over 250 organic traffic visitors, and which converted to about 27 signups. So as you could see, this is a more than 11% conversion rate, which is typically higher than what you get even if you target a high volume keyword. So these are reasons why it makes sense for a SaaS startup to target zero volume keywords. So now let's move forward. You might now be wondering that, okay, with all that I've said so far, does this mean that all zero search volume keywords are worth targeting? Like if you just come across any zero volume keywords, you should go ahead and target it immediately. Is that what I mean? The answer is no. So all zero volume keywords are not worth targeting. In fact, a lot of them, or let me not say a lot, but some of them won't really help your business in any way. And the reason is simple. So the reason is you need to understand how SEO works. So SEO, the way I define it is that SEO is a demand capturing channel and not a demand generating channel. Okay, so what this means is that SEO exists to capture an existing demand. So if there isn't a demand for a keyword, you won't get results from it. Okay, so if no one is searching for a specific keyword, then it doesn't really make sense for you to target it. Okay, so and that is why if a zero volume keyword is not really worth it, I will share more about how to identify it very soon. So, but if a zero volume keyword is not worth it, you shouldn't bother yourself targeting it, because if you target a keyword and you are ranking number one on Google for it, and no one is searching for that keyword on Google, it is just a waste of time. Okay, because SEO exists to capture demand. If people are not searching for that keyword, like literally you are just wasting your time. So and that now brings me to the next point of how you can identify zero volume keywords that are worth it. So as I've said previously, not all zero volume keywords are worth it. Some zero volume keywords are just there. You should just leave it as it is, but some of them are actually worth it and you should target them. So, and this is a three-step process that we follow at our agency to identify zero volume keywords that are worth it. So the first step is audience research. Okay, so audience research, I usually tell clients that it is the foundation of a successful SEO strategy. So if you check SEO strategies that have been successful in the last few years, okay, you'll find out that they were built upon an in-depth audience research. So the fact is that if you don't understand your customers' pain points, if you don't know what their jobs to be done are, you won't get results from SEO. That's the truth. Okay, so while a lot of companies, when they want to do SEO, what they typically do is they start from competitor analysis. They look at the top competitors in their niche to see what the keywords they are ranking for, and they try to rank for the same keywords. So when, for us, we don't usually start our SEO strategy from there. We usually start with audience research, and by audience research, especially with the zero volume, for target, for identifying zero volume keywords, it helps us to figure out the pain points and the jobs to be done of our target audience. So that is the first point. Now, the second step is that we now use Google Auto Suggest. Okay, so Google Auto Suggest helps us to validate if people are truly searching for the keywords, which is very important. So the fact that your audience have a specific problem doesn't mean that people are searching for that on Google. Okay, so of course, there's a place for you to create content where you try to solve a where you try to solve a problem that you've identified that your audience has. But if you really want to drive results from SEO, especially with zero volume keywords, I highly recommend that you also perform Google Auto Suggest. So try to Google the keyword and see the remaining keywords that Google Auto Suggest for you. The final point is that we also use people also ask and related searches section. This is the final step, and with this we are able to generate more ideas that we never thought of. So I want to share a hypothetical example to show you how you could literally identify zero volume keywords for your own software. So this example is for a Twitter productivity software. So a software that helps people to become more productive on Twitter. So now, if we are doing like if you want to identify the zero volume keywords for this type of software, so the first step we'll follow is audience research. So, and what do we want to achieve here? We want to identify the pain points and the jobs to be done of anyone that wants to be more productive on Twitter. So I want to be productive on Twitter. What are the pain points that I have? What are the jobs to be done? Like, what are the things I want to achieve? Okay, so that is what we want to achieve. So let's look at some typical problems of Twitter users. So as you could see here, some of those problems are a Twitter user want to schedule tweets, they want to schedule Twitter threads, they want to automate Twitter threads, they want to manage and track relationships better, they want to auto retweet high performing tweets. So these are some typical problems of Twitter users. Okay, so and before I move forward, I want to buttress on like what we typically do with audience research. So when doing audience research for clients, we usually start with interviews. So we interview the founders of the startup. So we want to know what are the problems that they saw in the niche that made them to decide to build the software. And we also ask them series of other questions. We also interview the sales department. So we want to know who are the best customers yet, who are the customers that didn't really convert, what are the solutions that their previous customers were using before using their own software, and on and on. Okay, we also interview the customer support team. So for the customer support team, we try to identify what are the pain points of the customers, what are the problems that they are facing, what are the things they want to get done in their like what are the jobs they want to get done, how were they solving those problems previously, and like and on and on. So these are some of the questions or some of the ways we do audience research. So now, let's say we are done with audience research. So the next step is to now use Google Auto Suggest. Okay, so for Google Auto Suggest, what we want to achieve with Google Auto Suggest is we want to confirm if these keywords actually exist and how users are searching for them on Google. Okay, so that's what we want to confirm. So, and like for this example, as I said, it's a hypothetical example. So some keywords ideas identified include Twitter automation tools, Twitter trade maker, Twitter CRM tool, Twitter auto DM tool, Twitter management tool. So these are some keywords that we identified for this hypothetical example. So the final step is we now use people also ask and related searches section. So what we want to achieve here is we want to generate more zero volume keywords that we never thought existed. Okay, so these are some examples that we generated for this software. So let's say, how do you schedule a tweet on iPhone? How do you create a thread on TweetDeck? Twitter thread to PDF, Twitter welcome message examples, Twitter follower manager, and on and on. So you can see here that with this step, we've been able to identify keywords that shows the pain points and the jobs to be done of the target audience. So because let's say, for instance, someone is searching for Twitter trade maker. So that is a job to be done. Like they want to make a trade on Twitter and they don't know how to do that. So if you could create a post or a page on your website targeting that keyword, you have a high chance of converting people that are literally looking for a Twitter trade maker. Okay, so that is for that. Then also for this example, let's say someone is searching for how do you let's say, how do you schedule a tweet on iPhone? Okay, so like what that means is that they have problems scheduling a tweet on iPhone. So if you could target this type of keyword, if your software is related to that, you could show the user how they could use your software to solve these pain points. So now, aside from those three steps, so these are other ways we also use to identify zero volume keywords. So what these do, we use them to build upon the three steps previously so that we could scale things further. So the first tool is Answer the Public. So Answer the Public was recently acquired by Uber Suggest. So you can use these to identify zero volume keywords. So it literally work with the related searches section on Google. So when you input a specific broad term on on Answer the Public, so it will return different keywords that people are searching for, questions and so on. Then another tool is Also Asked. So alsoasked.com is a very great tool for identifying zero volume keywords. Okay, so and what it works with the people also ask section. So with this, you can get tons of questions that your audience are asking. Then another tool rather, is Keyword Chef. So keywordchef.com. So this is an SEO tool, okay, but their focus is on zero volume keywords. So these two doesn't really focus on keywords that have tons of search volume. It focuses more on keywords with zero or low search volume. So these are other tools you can use to identify zero volume keywords that are worth targeting. Now, with that said, the next part of this workshop is like, I want to show you the things or the keywords that we targeted for a B2B SaaS startup in the content marketing niche, which helped them to acquire over 1,300 signups in 6 months. So even though they are zero volume keywords. So the first type here is alternatives keywords. So alternatives keywords is like they are typically zero volume keywords, even though in some cases, especially if you are in a mature niche, so you could typically see that alternative keywords have high search volume. So let's say, for instance, if you are competing against HubSpot, for example, so if you search for HubSpot alternatives, it already has tons of search volume. So because HubSpot is an established um, SaaS in the CRM niche. So, but aside from that, for most keywords or for most niches, you see that alternative keywords have zero or low search volume. So, for our clients, you could see from the screenshots, like by targeting these alternative keywords, these are just some examples. So, by targeting these alternative keywords, we're able to drive more than 1,300 signups within 6 months. So, these are keywords that a lot of their competitors are not even don't even care about. So we were able to capitalize on these keywords, and we're able to drive tons of organic traffic and user signups for them. So let me give you a practical example. So let's say, for instance, that you own a podcast recording software. Okay, so and you want to identify um, like alternative keywords. So these are some examples you could typically target: Zencaster alternatives, Riverside alternatives, Squadcast alternatives, Cleanfeed alternatives. So I can assure you that most of these keywords are zero search volume. A lot of people are like a lot of your competitors are neglecting them. So if you target these keywords, you start seeing results as soon as possible. So that's the first type. The second type is comparison keywords. So what we did here is twofold. So the first one is we compare our client's product to a top competitor in their niche, or in some cases, we compare like two or more top competitors of our client against one another. So and as you can see from the screenshot, it has we drove about, I think, um, let's say 150 signups from these type of keywords. So these are examples. So let's say you are doing SEO or content marketing for SendFox. So SendFox is an email marketing software. So if you are doing SEO for them. So these are some keywords you could target: SendForce versus ConvertKit, SendForce versus Active Campaign, SendForce versus MailChimp, and so on. So most of these keywords are zero volume keywords, and it could literally help your software. So another example for the second part, comparing two or more competitors against one another, we have examples like ConvertKit versus Fludesk. Um, you have Active Campaign versus Keep. You also have Sending Blue versus Constant Contact. So these are some zero volume keywords in the comparison post keywords. So the final part is product use cases and features keywords. So this was really interesting for us because we didn't start our client strategy from this. And eventually, when we started targeting these keywords, it even drove more signups than we anticipated. So these are, you can see from these screenshots, it has like gotten our clients more than 1,000 signups. So like what this typically highlights, what this typically means is you target keywords that highlight the core features and use cases of your SaaS product. Okay, so here is an example. So let's say, for instance, that you own a journaling software. So what are the core features of a journaling software? Okay, so these are some keywords that you could target. Let's say journal writing software, audio journal app, um, shared journal app, online journal maker. So these are features and use cases keywords that you could target to drive tons of organic traffic, and or maybe not tons of organic traffic, but tons of user signups. Okay, so there are still other zero volume keyword types you can focus to drive qualified traffic and acquire user signups for your SaaS startup. So in our case, we didn't really focus on this more, but like we still did some of them, but we haven't really gotten tons of like sign-ups from these, but they also work. So a good example is best X for Y. So the goal of this type of keywords is to capture people looking for a specific solution to the challenges they are facing. Okay, so let's say, for instance, you have a software that helps remote workers to become more productive. So these are some keywords that you could target: best digital planner app for Android, best productivity tools for Mac, best task management software for individuals. So, and as you can see, these keywords are specific. So someone searching for it is looking for a specific solution. So if your software helps with something like this and you target this type of keywords, it could help you to drive tons of um, signups. So, for instance, someone searching Google for best task management software for individuals. So here they are looking for a task management software they can use as an individual and not a generic task management software. So if you could target this type of keyword, your chances of driving signups from there is really high. So another type of zero volume keywords that also work for SaaS startups is how to solve why using Z. Okay, so let's say that your software helps people to solve a specific problem. So you could target this keyword to show the reader how to use your product to solve a specific problem. Now, here's a practical example. So let's say you do marketing for a recording and transcription software for online meetings. So an online meetings recording and transcription software. So these are some pain points that your users are typically searching for on Google. Let's say how to record a meeting in Google Meet, how to record a Zoom meeting as a participant. Hello, hello, hello. Please, I want to be sure if you can see my screen. Can you still see my screen? Can you still see my screen? Okay, awesome. So the with that, so the last thing I would like to tell you is this. If you're a SaaS startup, you shouldn't ignore zero volume keywords. So as I've shared with you with examples, like instead what you should do is that you should make zero volume keywords a core part of a SaaS startup's SEO strategy. Okay, so and the reason is simple. With zero volume keywords, these are things that they help you to do. Zero volume keywords helps you to drive qualified traffic. So unlike top of the funnel keywords like high volume keywords that typically drive um, that typically drive traffic that you might not really need. Zero volume keywords help you to drive qualified traffic. So aside from that, zero volume keywords, they also help you to acquire user signups. So instead of just creating content or investing in content marketing or SEO for the sake of it. So you are literally doing this and you are acquiring user sign up in the process. So that's another advantage of zero volume keywords. And finally, zero volume keywords helps you to grow your MRR. Okay, so like the truth is that what is the essence of investing in content marketing and SEO if not to grow your SaaS startups MRR? So if you really want to do that, then investing in zero volume keywords make a lot of sense. So you are not just acquiring traffic for the sake of it. You are acquiring traffic that helps your business. You are acquiring traffic that impacts your bottom line. You are acquiring traffic that helps you to grow your MRR and ARR. So on a final note, with all I've said so far, so you might be wondering, so how exactly do I get started with zero volume keywords for my SaaS startup? So like all what I've said about audience research, using Google Auto Suggest, um, like using all those keyword tools and so on, they might seem like a lot. So, and you might be wondering, like, how am I going to do all this? Like, if you've never done that before, you might be wondering that how exactly am I going to do this to grow my SaaS startup? So, and that is literally what we could help you to do at your Content Mart. So, at your Content Mart, our agency help we leverage what we refer to as ROI driven content marketing. So and what that does is that it helps you to drive qualified traffic, acquire user signups, and grow your MRR. So all you just need to do is, if you want to work with us, you want to partner with us, I will share the link in the chat below. So just visit yourcontentmart.co slash PYC. So fill the form. So once you do, and if you're a good fit, we'll let you know and we can get started from there. So and so that brings us to the end of this session. And I want to appreciate you for listening. And if you have any question whatsoever, so you can ask in the chat section and I will respond to them. So this is um, this is the link to fill the form. Okay, so okay, sure. I will share the presentation slides. If you are registered, I will share it um, with you in the next few days. Okay, thank you, Frank. So if you have any other question, so feel free to ask your questions, and once you do, I will be happy to respond to them. But in the absence of any questions, of course, we can call it a day. Okay. So it seems there aren't any question. So it seems there aren't any questions. So That brings us to the end of this session on how to. Okay, I don't have any Slack group, but if you registered, um, you can like send a response, like you can reply to the email for the email that you registered with. Just reply to any of those emails that you received from me. So, and you can ask any question that you have. Okay. So that brings us to the end of this session. I hope that you found it valuable and helpful. If you have any question whatsoever, do not hesitate to let me know. Do have a great day ahead. Bye.